Good afternoon, all our friends. So, for this afternoon circle, this morning we talked about an artist known as Jackson Pollock. And for this afternoon circle, I wanted to talk to you about another American artist, Andy Warhol. So, before I go into his work and what he's famous for and the artwork that we're going to recreate, I wanted to do the Good Afternoon song. So, let's get our fingers ready. Good evening, good evening, all our friends. We love you, we miss you. Please sit down, let's begin. Good evening, good evening, all our friends. We love you, we miss you. Please sit down, let's begin. Great. So, Andy Warhol was an artist in the 60s. Here is a self-portrait that he painted of himself. His work is famous as being a part of a pop art movement in the 60s. He was born Andrew Warhol in 1928 in Pennsylvania, which is in the United States. Here's another picture of him here. His parents were from Slovakia, but they moved to New York City in the 1920s. His first job was illustrating for advertisements in fashion magazines. And that's when he really was introduced into popular culture. And he is now famous for exploring popular culture in his artwork. Popular culture is basically anything that people like that's really popular. So Coca-Cola, popular musical artists, singers, actors are all considered pop icons, popular icons, and they influence the culture of the time. He was a unique artist because he would make silk screen prints of famous pictures. He would basically transfer a picture like a Campbell's soup, where he would draw the picture, or a Coca-Cola can. He would draw the picture onto a silk screen, which is like a mesh, and then he would paint over the mesh, and whatever color would seep through the mesh that was not painted, and it would create a print on canvas or paper. And then he could wash the mesh and change the colors and make multiple prints of the same picture with different colors. And that's what he was famous for. He would make prints and prints of the same image in different, unique, and sometimes contrasting colors. He didn't just do print artwork, though. He is also famous for some films that he made, digital artworks, illustrations, paintings, and sculptures too. So he was an artist that worked with a lot of different mediums, but he's probably most famous for his silk screening technique. In 1964, he made a series of artwork that introduced the poppy, and he named the series Flowers. So here is different prints of the same flower print, but do you see how he contrasted and changed the colors? So he drew the poppy print on the silk mesh, then he would color it with different colored paints or ink, then he would wash the print, change the colors, and do it again. And he would make a number of prints in the same series. And he named the series Flowers. Okay, here's another print that he's famous for. It's a famous popular culture icon. This is Marilyn Monroe. She was an actress. And he was probably most famous for the Campbell's soup print. One time he said that he loved Campbell's soup and he ate it every day for 20 years. Okay. So today we are going to make a print using styrofoam technique. I don't have a silk screen at home, and it would be too challenging for me to make with things in my house, and I didn't want you to go out of your way to try to make a silk screen yourself. You can look online. There are videos to make silk screens, and you can do a print over and over again of something maybe you've created, but today we're going to use styrofoam. I just cut a square piece of styrofoam from a food container so that I could reuse it, because styrofoam is not biodegradable. It only goes in the trash. So I wanted to try to see if I could use this to make something like art. So we're going to use styrofoam, and we're going to draw a print on the styrofoam just like we would draw a print on mesh, and then we will paint it and transfer it onto paper. Okay? So I wanted to do a poppy recreation just like Andy Warhol, and that's for a very specific reason. One, I wanted to do the poppy series because poppies are the California state flower, the golden poppy, but also because yesterday was Memorial Day, and the red poppy, which is featured here in his artwork a lot, is an actual symbol that people wear on Memorial Day or the Friday before Memorial Day to honor the fallen soldiers and to support the people who fought for our country and wear the uniform. So the golden poppy is the state flower of California, and the red poppy is a symbol for Memorial Day. So we're going to do a poppy series print with red poppies. Okay? All right, so I have my styrofoam square here, and I have my paper here on a clipboard. I also have a paper towel because I'm going to be using paint and markers, and I need a pencil to imprint my drawing onto the styrofoam. So I'm going to press on the styrofoam, and it's going to make the line, and the line is going to be lower than the styrofoam, so the paint won't go in the line and it will make a print. Okay, I'll show you how. So I'm going to look at his poppy series, and I'm going to draw my own poppies. Okay? Okay. Let's see. You have to press down pretty hard, but not all the way through. You just want to make an impression on the foam. Okay, that's one poppy. I'll do a bigger one here. He did 4 poppies in his print, so I'm going to also do 4 poppies in my print. And I'll just change the size. How about that? Okay. So if you have styrofoam at home, you can try to make an imprint on your styrofoam. It doesn't have to be poppies, but just to try the technique. Okay, so I drew my poppies onto my styrofoam, you see? And now I'm going to draw the grass because he has grass underneath as the background. So they kind of just look like lines. I'm just going to score lines on my print. Okay, great. So you see how I scored my lines like grass on the background? Okay, now the fun part. we're going to paint it black. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to get my paint and I'm going to just dot it. You don't need a lot. We'll just work with a little bit, and then if we need to add more, we'll add more. I'm just going to take a brush and I'm going to paint it. Like so. Okay. And wherever I had the lines should be white. Okay, so now I'm going to press it down, paint side down onto my paper, and it's going to make a print. Okay, great. So you can kind of see the print there, and now I can use my markers to fill it in. But first I'm going to do the print again 4 times to make a series. Okay, I'm going to add more black paint. I'm going to paint my print once more. Okay, now I'm going to print it again onto the paper, holding it down, pressing it, and carefully lifting up. Oh, that turned out much darker. See? Okay, now I'm going to do it 2 more times. Okay, I'm going to line it up and press. See, and we're making a print. It's basically just printing the same image over and over again like he did. And then we'll add different colors after, because we're not doing a silk screen, we're just doing a styrofoam print technique. Okay, line it up. Great. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 prints of my Poppy series. Now I get to add my colors. So let's tilt that down a little bit more so you can see. And we're going to do red for Memorial Day and maybe gold for California. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to color in my poppies. Where they are on the mesh. Okay, that's 1. Two. 3. Because we use such little black paint, it's already dry for the most part, so it really works. Okay, so I colored my poppies. Now I'm going to pick my grass color. He either did green or white, so since the paper's already white, I'm going to do green. And I'm just going to go over the lines that were scored onto the foam with green. Okay, great. Okay, so there's my first poppy screen print with styrofoam. Now I can do this one, the orange color for the golden poppies, orange and green, or I could switch it up and do different colors, multiple colors, because again, it's all the same print, it's just different colors, and that's what he did. He did all the same print over and over again, but he would do different colors and contrasting colors. See? Okay, friends, that is how you make a styrofoam print. And that is some history about this famous artist from Pennsylvania, Andy Warhol. Again, he was famous for his pop culture artwork, popular art. He would do Coca-Cola cans, Campbell's soup, Marilyn Monroe, and my personal favorite was his flower series. And that's what we tried to recreate today. Okay, friends, bye. I hope you've learned a lot about Andy Warhol, and I look forward to seeing your artwork.